Hello Daily Drafters and welcome back to the channel for today's Daily Draft. We will be closing out this week with, yep, you guessed it, another Lost Caverns of Ixalan draft here on the channel. This will be VOD number 5 and hopefully trophy number 4. We've already done 4 drafts and trophied 3 times. Hard to not be having a good time with the format if you're trophying at a 75% rate there and have a win percentage above 75% as well. So having a great time with the format. Hope you all are as well. But I know you came here to see a draft, and that's what we're going to do. So I'll see you in Pack 1, Pick 1. All right, here we are, and let's check out what we've got in the common slots. So we've got Miner's Guidewing, a very good 1-drop. The cheaper creatures and the cheaper cards I've noticed have already been very good in this format. That might just be the best common here. There's a Compass Gnome, which is also good. In the uncommon slot, we have Thrashing Brontodon and Cave Crawler to a lesser extent, but there's also Warden of the Inner Sky. So, 1 mana 1/2 has 3 or more counters on it. It has Flying and Vigilance, and you can tap 3 untapped artifacts or creatures to put a counter on it and scry 1 at sorcery speed. These sorcery speed tapping abilities look like they would be too slow. They haven't been too slow. I've played a lot of white and a lot of white-blue so far. I think this is close between Brontodon and Warden here. I don't think I'd fault you for going Warden or for going Brontodon necessarily, but I will take the rare in the Warden of the Inner Sky and see where we can go from there. And this is a really close one between Geological Appraiser, which I think is one of the better uncommons in the format, because Discover is broken, and Oltec Cloud Guard, which is, in my opinion, the best white common currently. 4 mana 3/2 flyer when ETBs make a 1/1 as well, which works very well with the Warden. You get 2 bodies for 1 card here. There's also Dauntless Dismantler. Now, unfortunately, I like playing these artifact decks a lot, and this would kind of hose our own deck. Not hose, but like we wouldn't have to use that second ability, but it is much more defensive, which is fine, and I'd probably play one, but because we have such a good rare in Warden already, I think the tiebreaker between Cloud Guard and Appraiser is going to be Cloud Guard because it's white. If this wasn't here, if this was just some random blue common, I would be taking Appraiser here, but I'm going to stay white with the Oltec Cloud Guard. And then now, unfortunately, the only white card is Cosmian Blast, which we're not going to be taking. So, what else can we find? There's an Idol of the Deep King. 3 mana flash, deal 2 to any target, and it crafts into an equipment. There's a Deadweight. There is a Thrashing Brontodon here. Pick 3. I thought about Pack 1, Pick 1ing it. So the question is, do I take the Deadweight or do I take the Brontodon and go into maybe a green-white or even abandon white and go into green-red dinos, which is a deck I haven't drafted yet? Or just take the cheap removal spell? This is a close one. I don't know exactly which way to go here. I think I'm going to take the Brontodon. And that, again, that could be wrong. I mean, wrong is a subjective term, as there are now, pick 4, there are 0 green cards, which does not bode well for the future here. Now I wish I absolutely would have taken Deadweight, obviously. So there's Bartolome. So if we're thinking of branching out into black, we'd take Visage of Dread, 2 mana, get a card out of their hand and crafts into a creature. Skullcap Snail, they exile a card from their hand, or Bartolome here. All of those kind of branch into a black-white style of deck. I think Bartolome has the highest upside out of these 3, although I would love to play both of those cards in a black-white deck here. Now I definitely regret not taking the Deadweight, but again, you can't... Hindsight's 20/20 with that. This is a really close one here. The best card in this pack by a lot, I think, is Waterwind Scout. But there's Tinker's Tote and Ironpaw Aspirant as well. And boy, does Warden of the Inner Sky go incredibly well with Tinker's Tote. I think Ironpaw is like a better card in a vacuum, but Tinker's Tote has much more synergistic qualities in this format I could branch out into a third color with Water Wind, but I think the Tinker's Toad is going to go well with any sort of white deck that we play. I have no idea why this is red, or if it will let me take it, but this is the card I do want to take here. Fabrication Foundry, I mean, it's very, very good with all of these artifact things already. It's very good with Tinker's Tote because you can pay 3 mana, exile the Tinker Tote, and then return a 3-drop artifact, which is all good. There's Attentive Sunscribe, which I'd probably play as well, but let's see if it lets us take this card. Okay, it does. I don't know why it was red. That was weird. Okay, so still no green, so green is probably not happening. Black is a little bit cut as well, but I've drafted a lot of blue-white on this channel already, and I've had a ton of success with it. It's my current pick for the best deck in the format, and look, if you keep passing me these cheap craft artifacts and stuff, I'm going to keep taking them. Like, what else am I going to take here? A cave build around with 0 caves? A very underwhelming 3-drop in black? I could take the Archaeologist as well, but getting cheap artifacts is good too, so I mean, I'll just take that here. These have been some weird packs. Like, the Kincaller is a pretty good card in green. And we've seen a couple late and then like 0 green cards in other packs. It's been very strange. Council of Echoes. The styles of deck that I play don't usually enable this as well as I would want to. There is an Archaeologist here. I don't really like Unlucky Drop. I don't care too much about Archaeologist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Kincaller, go with the Brontodon, and see if that ends up being open. In the Presence of Ages. Look at the top 4, put a creature and or a land into your hand, rest in the graveyard. Probably not. Puzzle Door, Hammer. I usually don't mind running a Hammer in my white decks, but it's not a priority. I don't care too much about these cards here. Let's just stay white with the Hammer here. Alright. No white. And very little green. There is an Altasaur to go with these things. If we open to some, like, It's Quinth in Pack 2 or something, I don't see myself abandoning white entirely. But black has not been open. So white-green, but we have, like, an artifact theme and a dino theme, and those would not go well together. So let's take the third dino here. I do think Shipwreck Sentry could go well in a blue-white artifact deck. Not that that's where we're going to end up, but I don't like any of these other cards necessarily. Okay, the Archaeologist did wheel. There's a Blade Master as well, but let's take the Archaeologist. Here's a Hammer. Look, another Kincaller and a red dino. I mean, I guess I'll take this one. We're kind of drafting 2 decks here. And I'm not sure which route we're going to end up going. Brass's Tunnel Grinder kind of answers that for me, because this card is incredibly good. 3 mana, ETBs, discard any number of cards, then draw that many +1. Beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, put a boar counter on it, then if there are 3 more, you remove it and transform it, and then you discover every single turn. I'm taking this card, and we're going to figure out a way to fit it into our deck here. Even if we go red-white, I don't know. I've wanted to draft a green-red Dinos deck, and we have a lot of cards for white already, but this card is by far and away the best card in the pack. So we're going to take it here. Unfortunately, Hit the Mother Lode is not the one, not the rare you want to be taking here. So there's a Master's Guide mural, there's a Chart a Course. And then when it comes to green and red, there's literally no dinosaurs or payoffs. So I think the Guide Mural has the best chance of making our deck if we end up going blue-white. Like, there's also just a Chart a Course. What if we go blue-red now that we have a Brass's Tunnel Grinder? I don't know. I'm not thrilled with any of those options there. Again, where are the dinos? Restless Prairie could help us splash something. Sunshot Militia is a card that's gone up in my estimation. There is Explorer's Cache as well. I wonder if we can think about like a green-white deck here. Poison Dart Frog could help splash. I do really like Militia. Maybe if we go red-white. I don't know what is going on here. This is definitely tough. I guess I'll take this to go with this deck. Look, another Kincaller, but there is a Petrify here. That doesn't seem great. As a copy of a target land in a graveyard, except it's a cave. And you could copy like a mountain or something. Pit of Offerings, I think, is an eminently playable cave in the format, but let's take our third Kincaller. Now we've got Explorer's Cache, Oltec Cloud Guard, Basking Capybara. I think I'm leaning towards green-white now. But it's going to be kind of like a less of a synergistic green-white, which is not a spot you really want to be in exactly. So what if we did this and then looked at our curve here, which isn't great. So what if we took like Vanguard of the Rose as a cheap creature? I don't really like the Capybara. Presence of Ages, Stone Tree, Over the Edge, all just meh cards. I think I'll take the Vanguard of the Rose here. Fit in our 2-drop slot. Now green is completely cut, but there is a cave land. I do like getting my first copy of a cave land here. There's a Burning Sun's Cavalry for dinos, but we didn't get any of the rare dinos. Disturbed Slumber is not one of the cards I really want to play. Swashbuckler's Whip. I mean, maybe we could play this if we end up a little light on playables here. It's a Buried Treasure, which could help us splash this. There's Companion. Dismantler as a 2-drop that's a little bit more defensive. Don't like the Blowgun. Guess I'll take Dismantler. I don't think I'm playing 2 hammers, but I'm also not playing a Blowgun, I don't think. Okay, so here's some more things. There's a Brawler. There's a Sunscribe. Our deck is very confused. It's like, do you want to be dinos or do you want to be artifacts? And I'm not sure we even know. I don't think I want the Landmark. The Blast is a little bit more defensive. We're probably going to be a little bit more aggressive. Same with Whirlpool being a little bit more defensive. We could play the Capybara. Don't think I'll play in the Presence of Ages. And no to Relic's Roar. Alright, well we kind of got rewarded for going into green-white here. We get Kellen Daring Traveler. 2 mana, 2/3 could draw cards when it attacks. Otherwise it surveils, and you can also make some maps potentially. There's also an Oltec Cloud Guard, which I'd play 4, or I'd play 3. But let's take Kellen, and there's a Cache, a Tinker's Tote, and Oltec Cloud Guard, but Kellen is exactly what we're looking for. I still have to figure out a way to splash this Tunnel Grinder here, and I don't know how to do it, because there's not great fixing in this format, in my opinion. Okay, Petrify, Bristleback, Market Gnome. I don't think this is going to be a Market Gnome deck. I can take Petrify as basically my first removal spell. So let's take that. Unfortunately, this doesn't fix for the Tunnel Grinder. The volcano isn't a good way to do that. The Sunbird standard does fix for the tunnel grinder. There's also another capybara, disturbed slumber. I don't really care too much about these green or white cards. I wonder if this is a Sunbird standard deck to get this tunnel grinder in our pool here. I don't really like it necessarily. How many dinos? 4? No, I'm gonna take the lore keeper in the event that we get a couple more dinos here. I don't think the Sunbird, like, maybe this just doesn't make our deck as good as it is. We're probably going to be a little bit more assertive and aggressive with this deck. So we could take Gym Guard, which is actually a card I've liked quite a bit. There's Sunscribe as a 2-drop. There's Nursery as another cave. There's Staggering Size as a combat trick. Another Capybara, which I'm probably not even playing the first. So I guess I'll take the 2-drop here. Some good red, but I think that ship has sailed. There's a Buried Treasure, but this is not the way to splash. I think I'll just take a Kawadi Scavenger, and maybe we play it, maybe we don't. We're not really super high on Descend in this deck. There's a Malamet Battleglyph here, which is a removal spell, which we might have to just take. There's an Over the Edge, a Seeker of the Sunlight. I don't really like most of this. Okay, Tendril of the Micro Tyrant is a way to kind of, you know, play a threat into the late game. So I think I'll take my first Tendril. We can play a Staggering Size over a Walk with the Ancestors here. Not playing that. So unfortunately, the Tunnel Grinder doesn't look to have made our deck. And we ended up with like a white artifact deck and a green dinos deck all thrown together here. And we do have some cuts, and I'm sure it'll be relatively easy to make those cuts. So we have 4 dinosaurs, 3 Kincallers, and a Brontodon here. Two courtyards. The Lore Keeper can ramp us to one of these 4 cards on turn 3, and that might just be good enough to keep it in, but it might not. We have so many 2s we could just play on 2, even if we play the Lore Caller. We probably don't need it. This is not a landmark deck. It's probably not a Dismantler deck or a Fabrication Foundry deck anymore. Oh, this is going to be awkward. Let's take the Foundry out, because this card is temporarily prohibited and not legal in any format. Oh. Okay, I do remember this being bugged, because you could exile 1 or more other artifacts and it would just get back any artifact instead of one with mana value X or less. So I guess that was a wasted pick. Did not realize that that was banned, but okay. That's fine. I don't think we were playing it anyway. What about the Dismantler? I don't think this is a Dismantler deck. It's probably not an Archaeologist deck. I don't even know about Tinker's Tote. It's good with the Warden, but it's not great with much else here. It's fine with Vanguard, I guess. What else do we have? Like a Swashbuckler's Whip. We have a Blowgun here. In the Presence of Ages? No. I think we're definitely going 16 lands. Probably only want 1 tap land. This means we have to add 2 more cards back. So how many artifacts do we have? 4? That's not a lot for the Oltec Archaeologists. to get back. The hammer puts itself in the graveyard. The Tinker's Tote puts itself in the graveyard. The Sunscribe could die, and there's one more artifact here somewhere hiding. The Cache, I guess. It's also just a 5-mana 4/4 Scry 3, which is fine. I don't want to play 2 hammers. This isn't a landmark deck. I don't think we want the Lore Keeper. I don't think I want to play in the Presence of Ages. Maybe we could play the Whip here? I mean, it taps things down, like a lot of things down. It doesn't give any buffs, though. So, it's 1 mana to play, 1 to equip, and then 2 to tap. So it's basically 3 mana to tap a bunch of things on my turn, because I can re-equip and then tap with a new creature, but then that creature is also tapped. Might of the Ancestors. 3 mana, beginning of combat in your turn, target creature you control gets +2/+0 and Vigilance until end of turn. Well, we have 16 creatures, including a ton of 2-drops. I don't really like it, but I don't really like the deck, so it fits in well. Alright, this will be an interesting one. I do not have much confidence in this. We kind of drafted 2 decks at the same time and then threw them together, which wasn't really the way to go, but either way, we'll give it a shot. We'll see if we can get where we wanted to get with this deck. But before we do, go ahead and take a look at the description for the Daily Drafters Patreon page. I do have a Patreon if you want to go ahead and think about giving back to the channel, giving back to content creators that you are entertained by and would like to support. It's very inexpensive, my Patreon. It's just a maximum of $5 per month for the most expensive tier, and you get rewards for all the tiers all the way up to that tier as well. So be greatly appreciated if you at least just take a look at that. And if you don't want to and you're not subscribed here yet, go ahead and drop a subscription as well. But I will go ahead and now see you in game 1. All right, here we are. An opponent goes first. And our first plays until turn 3. We are on the draw, though. We have 2 colors of mana. I mean, we can't mulligan, so. Okay, playing the Evolving Wilds variant. Mono red. No, they just needed a second red. Okay, Burning Sun's Cavalry. My turn. We've drawn literal nothing but lands here. I guess I'll just play my 3/3. Sure. See if they've got a combat trick. Nope. Alright. Kaslam's Stone Tree. They get to ramp a little bit and then do some cave things. Alright, creature, get on down here. Finally drew a non-land. Turns into a 5/5, right? Yeah. This should be okay. We've got a Petrify to just lock that thing down. It looks like that's what they're going for. Yes, it is. Resolves. You have a 5/5. Your 5/5 is dead. And Tinker's Tote here. This puts itself in the graveyard at instant speed to potentially buff this thing, but we need a couple more permanents into the yard before this becomes a 4-3. Careening Minecart. Yeah, that's a good one. I do like that. Explores Cache. Enters with 2+1/+1 counters whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it dies. You put a counter on this, and you can move a counter to something. Or I could just Archaeologist to set up my draws here. I think I'll just play the Archaeologist first. Scry 3. Oh, hello. Yeah, all of this is pretty darn good. Yeah, let's draw them all. Go to combat, can't attack, pass to your turn. They can animate the minecart, equip the pickaxe, and attack with it, and we could trade with Archaeologist here. They might have some sort of trick, though. You could also Promising Vein to put some counters on it. No, that's not that one. That's the tap land again. Yeah, so that's what I thought they might be doing. I will trade if they let me. Let's see if they have a combat trick here. Okay, that's fine. Getting a bunch of treasure, but not having like a ton of things in hand to do with it. So this is going to become a 5/6 when they equip the pickaxe to it. So I could block with Brontodon and use Staggering Size. They've proven to me they have not had a combat trick in the last, like, 3 turns. So they will have to top deck one for that to not go well for us. So I think I'm just going to plan on that being my play here because they've proven to me they haven't had anything. That is something. That will probably kill us. Oh my word. Yeah, alright, so we're dead. Thanks to Galta. What is it? 12/12 with trample. Goodness gracious. Whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it dies, put it on here. So I mean, I have no idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We still can't block Galta. So is there a way we can give ourselves a profitable block on the Monstrosaur? Capybara plus Kincaller can block it if we do this. Yeah, I figured that would be happening. We have to block it next turn because it's a 13/13 trample. Sure. still only have like 11 power or something. We might just be dead on board. That has trample. Yeah, you know, when you cast a 7 mana 12/12 that comes with a 6/5 that comes with a 3/2 that comes with a treasure, it's going to be hard to win. I don't know what else we can have here that gets us out of this whole Gulta situation. Go to damage. Go to 1. Cosmium Confluence to destroy that. Sure. Okay, so now... Again, I don't know... In fact, I don't think there's a way we get out of this, but... we try. We can sacrifice Brontodon to kill the Strider, but I think the Galta's Trample is going to be too much for us here. I should just attack with everything. Yep. So we have to block. So I can do like this, this, and this. And I think, yeah, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it'll still trample over here. Because we just sacrifice Brontodon, kill the Strider, and then this tramples over. Yeah. Well, yeah, like I mentioned, Galta's gonna... If you resolve a Galta, it's usually gonna kill the other person. And that's probably the only time all format we're gonna play against Galta where it put down 2 other creatures. It's not very common that's gonna happen, but it worked out for them. Alright, we go first, and look at this curve. Warden into Kellen. Don't mind if I do. Kellen is a great attacker on 2. Probably want to go Warden over Hammer on 1. I mean, this is just a creature. Can attack on 2. Although Warden plus Battleglyph to kill a 1-drop would be great, but we don't know that they're going to have a 1-drop because we go first, so... We go rare into rare. I guess I could have used Kellen's ability to journey on to make a map and play the hammer, but getting Kellen to attack on turn 2 is so good, or on turn 3 is so good because he can just draw you cards if they don't have creatures that can deal with him. So I can play Hammer, I can tap everything for Warden, but I want to be attacking with Kellen, so I could kill the Dart Frog, but I could do that later too. So let's just get in, see what we find. Do we need another Plains? I do not need another Plains. So now I wish I would have played the Hammer pre-combat, but I mean, we didn't know exactly what we had, or what we were going to get, so... I guess I can equip now? And should I kill the Dart Frog here? I think I will. It ramps them. I don't want it to... I didn't think they were blocking, obviously, so I could have waited. I just wanted to see what I was potentially getting off the top of my library from Kellen before I did anything. Ah, they have Malamet Battleglyph as well. That is really annoying. Okay, not much else we can do there. Can't cast the Brontodon. Pretty much already out of gas here. Sure. I think rather than attacking, I'm actually just gonna do this turn. Malamet Brawler. I mean... yeah, there are worse draws. That's a really good one. Good thing the Brontodon can trade for it if we want to. Costs 3 mana to do that, but... okay, so... if I attack with either of these and they block, I use Staggering Size. They can't even double block for that. Conversely, I can use the Warden to tap some things, get counters, and kill the Roaming Throne with the Brontodon here. Let's do this. That works for me. Now I can just trade Staggering Size for the throne here. Then I can play Brawler and still tap everything. Tinker's Tote. Well, that flips the Warden next turn. Or not flips, but it turns on +1/+1 and flying all by itself. Or flying Vigilance all by itself. Let's see if the Warden survives to next turn. That's a fun build around. All sorts of exploring and scrying and flipping and drawing. Another Nikanzil. Yeah, they've had a bunch of uncommons and rares. Really need the Warden to survive here. That's kind of all we have going for us. Okay, it did survive. Tendril of the Micro Tyrant. We are quite far away from that being a big threat here. But they apparently can't deal with the Warden, which I will take. So at least we got that win. Okay, we go first, and no white, no creatures until this. But we do have a cash on 2, a kin color on 3 if we find a land in 3 draws. Or 2 draws, I guess. And then it instantly becomes a 4/4. I hate mulliganing, and there's a chance this, like, blows up in our face. But we did manage to at least draw the land for the kin collar. So we do have a 4/4 on turn 3 now. Drawing all of our tricks and things, but not much else. This deck is just, like I mentioned in deck building and stuff, it's just kind of confused. It wants to be like artifacts and stuff, but it wants to be like combat tricky, and it's just, it's confused. Go to damage, play Tote, put a counter on one of the creatures. They've got a Waterwind Scout and an Explore here. If they explore onto the Vanguard and make it a 4/2, I was going to say I might petrify it, but I still have attacks with these double staggering sizes in hand, so... Alright, am I willing to trade their map token for my 1/1 here? What if I did this? Trading my 2/2 for their 2/3, and I get a counter back? Let's do that instead. Okay, they'll explore on the Scout, find chart a course. If Might of Ancestors is gonna be good, I mean, now's the time, I guess. They can draw 2 cards next turn, but we can start to really pressure their life total here. Because if they don't have removal in addition to this chart a course, we've got +6/+6 and trample next turn. Or, like, basically +8/+6 and trample if we want it. Let's see what they find off chart a course. That's incredibly annoying. They should have done it to the other one. I guess they really wanted the map. Because unfortunately we don't get the counter back on the cash because it just disappeared into thin air. So that's really annoying. I guess we go for it. I can't imagine they have anything to blow us out here. Yeah, so resolves. It would take 6 damage here, and this would cause them to take 9 damage. So, yeah. Double staggering size for the win. Might of the Ancestors actually did something. Okay. Alright, we go first again with a very similar hand to last time. We do have a play we can play. Any land lets us play Kincaller, and a white really opens up the hand here. Again, it has the ability to go wrong. But you saw what happened last time. We won. Although that won't happen every time. So we have 2 shots at a land to play Kincaller on 3. And a white, again, would assist here. They're kind of cool sleeves. Another staunch crewmate. Sure. Okay. I could get Might of the Ancestors down and start bashing, but I think it's more important to get our creatures down. So I'm just going to play the Kincaller here. And then we can play Might next turn. And if we draw another Plains, we could play Hammer and Might, maybe. Another crewmate. Do they miss a land, though, is the question. No. In fact, they drew a card that works exactly well with it. Another Kincaller. Yeah. Yeah. Guess I'll just play that. Doing it pre-combat so I can gain the life here. If they want to trade both of these for a Kincaller, I'm probably okay with that. Also fine trading either one for a Basking Capybara. The mismatched lands is really bothering me. Does that bother anyone else? Pass the turn. Okay. Well, we don't have anything else to do but really just play this, so... I mean, if they have removal or something, they're gonna have removal. Okay. Not a bad little combo there. And they can also trade it with our 3/3 now. Oh no, they blocked already. Okay, so they won't trade it for the 3/3. Another plains would be quite good. That way I could cast 2 cards, or even cast hammer and equip hammer, and play removal or a sunscribe or anything really. Did they miss with the crewmate? I guess they did. I didn't even notice. Hammer and equip. Sure, that way they can trade for both of these. It's kind of annoying. That's also annoying. I mean, I can hammer and equip and threaten a trade for both here. Everything else just doesn't really do much right now. So let's go to combat, give it here, and actually keep this one back because I don't feel like trading it for a 2-1, even though it has a hammer on it. So this is like divination, mill 2, draw 2, and then if they have descended 8, then we can look at what it does. Currently I have descend 4. Kind of 5, because this could go to the yard too. Okay. There's 5. Move this over to the pup, that makes sense. Now, unfortunately, Petrify is kind of going to blow that out a little bit. Because now they just have to chump. Go to 3. We have 2 lethal threats here. They have the potential for 1 creature. So they have to play 2 creatures or creature removal. Up to 7. I mean, whenever you cast a permanent spell using mana produced by this, other 1 target permanent becomes a copy of that spell till end of turn. Okay, that should be okay. They're playing defensively. They aren't really going to need. How do you flip it? You have to craft. Beginning of your upkeep. Okay, so they can't even do it this turn. Can't flip the iceberg anymore. Okay, that's an answer. Now do they have a creature as well? That is a creature. They're finding a way to stabilize. That's 2 creatures. Okay. Sure. Left that on top real quick. So I assume they trade here. Staggering size would have been a great draw. Probably would have won. Oh, interestingly, we can actually kill their deconstruction hammer with our deconstruction hammer. But that doesn't matter because it'll become a 3/3. Yeah, everything would trade. Which doesn't seem worth it. So let's just do that. They go to 5. We play a 2/2 and equip it. They flip the myriad pools, and they very quickly kept something on top. So let's see what it was. Do we have an artifact in the yard we can get back? No. They are really on the back foot here. It might take us a while to win. I think we're favored, but there are many cards in this set that can get them out of this here. Clay-fired bricks. That does gain 2 mana, or gain 2 life. Now their map is a clay-fired bricks. Sure. It's a weird interaction. 4, 5, 6, 7. They can craft this, get 2 2/2s here. They can't craft this, though, because this doesn't have a backside. I hope they don't try with this one. Yeah. Okay. Alright, they get 2 2/2s. That saves them. Battle glyph. So they fight. Yeah, that wouldn't really save much. I could Vanguard and then Battle Glyph. It gets a counter and then they fight, but they still die. So I guess we're just playing Cloud Guard here. We can kill this kiln with the hammer at some point, if it matters. There's a lot of combat math here that is quite difficult. Now the archaeologist can get back the Sunscribe if we want it to. And with the Might of the Ancestors on the battlefield, any creature is a good threat. Next turn we can also Vanguard the Rose, equip it with the hammer, and Battle Glyph something, as long as it's not 3 powered. If it's only 2 powered, we could kill it. God, that's annoying. What is that, a Ward 2 as well? Yeah, so that's very difficult to kill with the hammer. So that's a 4/6 flyer? Or a 3/6 flyer? Oh gosh. Yeah, they are doing the thing. guess we could cash and hammer. Put the counter here, it becomes a 4-3. Put this, it becomes a 5-4. Use this, it becomes a 7-5. And then they have to chump with Hoverstone Pilgrim and they're dead next turn. Yeah, that seems like the best thing to do. Okay, do they have another answer? One answer is using their Deconstruction Hammer to kill ours, which puts them at not dead. All of these crafting things don't do it right now. That just makes a 6-6. That makes a 4-4. That answers our threat. Okay. They are drawing every single answer that they have. Notably, in this game, we have 4 lands and they have 10. So, yeah. Still have 4 lands here. Can I not activate it because the creature has that? Yeah, so I can't activate it because this creature has that ability. That's annoying. Man, this game is so back and forth here. So this deals 5 damage to a tapped creature. We're doing our best, but with 4 mana. Like, we just can't do any more than, like, 1 thing a turn. And meanwhile, they're doing 6/6s and 7/7s and all that sorts of stuff. Too little, too late, buddy. So I can get back a Sunscribe with the Archaeologist here. I can activate the Hammer to kill their 7/7, but they have basically a full stream of 7/7s coming. Or 5/5s for like the rest of this game. So I don't know how we get through it. Do we have to hammer their manufactory? I mean, that doesn't seem like a good way to go about things either. Thrashing Brontodon. That might do something, maybe? I guess they can just kill our 5/3 by sacrificing their hammer here. Just kill our hammer. Yeah, that makes sense too. Probably doing that just so they can trigger the manufactory, I would think. Yeah. Oh, no. Alright, well, that'll probably do it. Man, how on earth did they get out of that there? They were at 3 for, like, the entire game. That's frustrating. I don't think we have a way to get through. Again, we're stuck on 5 lands here, and they've got 12. We had 4 lands for, like, the first 9 turns of this game or something. Depends on what their last card is here, but if they overextend, we might be able to get them. I mean, if they're patient, they kill us. But I think if they lock in these attacks and they don't have anything in hand, we might win. But if they have something in hand, then we're dead so many different ways. Oh, that's right. They just get to untap that there. So, let's see. What if we do... How do we win? We have to win next turn, basically. And they do have an instant in hand, I guess? Or it could be this crew. Okay, so we... do that, do this, and then kill their 5/5 here. They still have 3 creatures. Well, they'll have 2 blockers. So... We now have 3 attackers that are all lethal, so let's see what their last card is. Okay, staggering size. There you go. You can animate that no matter what. Now, Oltec Archaeologists might just be lethal here. Do they have another answer? Oh, come on. Really? What a game. I mean, good game here. Ah, gosh, I thought we had them, and then they managed to top deck eaten by piranhas. Well, either way, good game. Really, really tough one back and forth there. We played to our outs, and we almost had it. Alright, here we are in the next game. We've got a lot of life gain in the hand. A little bit later of a hand, but I mean, we've got some threats that are likely going to be able to attack. We have, like, 18 2-drops in this deck that we could find in our first draw step, but knowing us, it probably won't be one of those. Hey, we actually did it. Can you believe it? It was about the worst one we could have found, but, you know, it is a 2-drop. So, Warden of the Inner Sky. That's a card. We've got one of those, too. Alright, can't really attack because they can just bounce it, so... Reveal another one here, because why not? And let's see if they start pumping up their Warden, or if they're afraid from us attacking. Okay, so they won't actually do it, so let's do this. Is this the one that... Yeah, okay. So, if they've got a combat trick... So, or if you control another dinosaur, so I don't have to do that. So let's see if they got a combat trick, or if they're just going to crack the vein. Alright, that'll work. Wait, isn't that the one you have to crack? Yeah. So they just didn't do it? Oh no, and then the shame concession. Well, you know what? At least we got up to 3 wins, and that's kind of the barrier of entry of where you want to be. Did I have fun? I don't know. Alright, our hands have just been very, very awkward, and unfortunately this is one I think we actually do have to send back. And then can I interest you in basically the exact same hand here? That's great. Sure, I guess we send the Warden back. I mean, I don't know, man. Ugh. Alright, well at least we got 3 wins. Sometimes it works in your favor, and other times it just doesn't. Today's one of those days where it is not. Magic the Gathering, folks. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes you lose to nothing you could have done. I mean, I could have mulled a 5 there. I probably should have mulled a 5, but you mulled a 5, you're going to win like 1 out of 10 games. So it's really not great to go to 5. could do Brontodon and map. I think I'll just do another Cloud Guard, though. I mean, there's not really much going for us here. They've got double clay-fired bricks and now 6 lands, so they're going to have a board of 3/3s very shortly. They can actually just do it now, because the buried treasure has 7. Probably have to get rid of a deconstruction hammer to do that. Because you can't use the treasure. No, I guess you can. You can use the treasure and then craft with the treasure as well from your graveyard. So that's probably what they're going to do here. Nope, they'll just play a 6/6 or a 6/5 trample. That works too. So I can do Tinker's Tote and Sunscribe. I can do Brontodon, Kellen. I can do Brontodon hold up to kill this thing. I can do Tinker's Tote, Kellen. Nope, I can't do that because I only have 1 white mana, so I've got to do this. And then decide what else I'm going to do here. Either Sunscribe, Kellen, map, and hold up Brontodon. Let's do this and hold up Brontodon here. Of course. Take 6, go to 3. This says trample, right? Yeah. Today is not our day, folks. Today is just not our day. Yeah, real close to a really nice close win there, and then before and couldn't quite get it over the edge with a last second removal spell. And then here, mulligan to 6 with only forests and white cards. Got stuck on 3 lands last game. Mulliganed earlier. It's just today is not our day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 artifacts for this thing. Just give it to the Monstrosaur and call it game here. I don't think we have anything. We go to 5. We block. Sure. Nine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't feel like doing math. 10. I'm probably dead. So, all right. Well, got to 3 and 3. Basically, almost made our money back there, which is kind of what you want to do. Very unfortunate deck. It just wasn't good. We pivoted too quickly, or not too quickly, but we just kind of chose 2 different routes in the draft. And when you combine 2 decks in this synergistic format that are not synergistic with each other, it's just not going to work out, as you saw there. Granted, our draws and our mulligans really didn't help our case there, but you know, it is what it is. You can't win them all. So thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you next week and next time for your daily draft.